Hello, everybody. It's Liz from West Star Tarot, and I am here today to finally record my monthly favorites. My life has been a bit of a disaster since 2025 started. And the last favorites I did, I believe, monthly favorites I did, I believe, was February. So I missed March, April, and May. And I was determined to do June. I thought things were starting to settle down a little bit. And then I don't know if you notice, this isn't a sunburn. It's poison ivy. Yeah, so just when everything I thought was settling down, I got poison ivy. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't get in front of a camera with this. And then I just thought, oh, who cares? Really. I really want to move forward with my favorites. A lot has been happening and I just want to catch up. And June is such a full month, just because of the wheel of where we are in the Northern Hemisphere on the wheel of the year. And as an herbalist and a gardener, which is why I got poison ivy, it's a full time of year for me. So I thought I just would take a few minutes to talk about the path that I've been on since 2025 started. And a lot of this stuff has been going on for quite some time. And, I always wonder, well, what do you share? It's a tarot. I mainly do tarot herbs, books. So do I really need to share, my personal life, air my dirty laundry, so to speak? But, I've formed relationships with a lot of you, and we talk to each other, and comments on each other's videos, and message each other, and some of us even call each other, and, I feel connected, and I feel a community. You're my community, I'm your community, and at this point in time, here in the States and globally, we really need, I think it's really important for us to be in community with each other. I believe that that's what the powers that be are trying to prevent us from doing, is being in community with each other. And so I am just determined to not let that happen. So I thought, I'll do a little synopsis of what's been going on with me and why I haven't been able to get to my favorites. I have been tracking my decks, and I'm going to do a separate video for Masha, deck of the month, so that I can, at the end of the year, do my deck of the year. But I don't have time to do that in this video. So anyway, January 2nd, 2025, I filed for divorce after 41 years of marriage. Things just got to a point where I realized I don't want to do this anymore. And so I'm not going to go into the details of why, but anyway, I filed for divorce. And we went to a mediator, and that was working out just fine. And then we were still living in the same house together, separately, but in the same house. I lived upstairs, he lived downstairs, and it was working. My ex-partner has not been in very good health, and that was one of the reasons I stayed in the marriage as long as I did. But finally, I just said, I can't do this anymore. And anyway, in February, he started to get sicker and sicker. And then very beginning of March, went into the hospital in Boston. and got sicker and sicker. And, they said, well, we can try this, or we can try that, well, we can try this. And finally, after 6 weeks, they just said, yeah, we don't have any more options. So my daughter and I moved Bob, my partner, back to the Cape to hospice, and less than 48 hours later he passed back here on Cape Cod in April. So April was that. March was January was the filing of divorce. February was the mediation agreement. March was the hospitalization. April was the death, and then May we had the memorial service. And it's just been kind of wild. And now here I am in June, and there's a lot of things to settle. And the ironic thing is, in Massachusetts, once you file for divorce and the court kind of accepts your plea, your filing, there's a 90-day waiting period. And so Bob actually died before our divorce was final. So I actually never did get divorced. Which is, whatever. So anyway, now I am not a divorcee, but a widow. And I'm living here in my house. I managed to keep my house. That was kind of the big thing. Was that going to work out or not? And it did. So I'm still here in my house. My daughter and a bunch of her friends and a bunch of my friends, after the memorial service, came by, and we got a dumpster and we had trucks, and we just cleaned this house out. We hadn't cleaned out the basement in like 10 years, or the garage. I mean, it was crazy. A lot of stuff, of course, books and clothes and furniture and, usable things we donated and gave away to people. But there was a lot of junk, and that all went in the dumpster. So now here I am in June with my house. Furniture all moved around because we got rid of a lot, and I really do feel like in my early 70s, at 72, I am starting a new chapter. And I've been through a lot the past 5 or so years, a lot. And I've come out the other side. And one of the reasons I feel like I've been able to come out the other side is, of course, love and support of friends, family, and community, but also because of my tarot cards and oracle cards. They're my I do have a counselor, but I mean, I go to them and they give me guidance. And for the past 5 to 10 years, that's what's gotten me through. And now here I am. I'm walking through a new doorway, and I'm starting a new chapter of my life. And I'm healing, and I've grown, I've evolved. I think that you don't grow and evolve without struggle, without difficulty. If everything's smooth sailing, you just kind of sail along. But when things start getting difficult, you have to adjust and evolve and grow. And that's what I've been doing. So anyway, a new life path is opening for me. July 1st, I'm getting a housemate. So I have this friend who's just gone through a divorce and needs kind of a transitional place to live. I've known her for 40 years. Our kids grew up together. We have multiple connections. We worked in different organizations together. We were in a women's circle together. So, she's a tarot person. She's a witch. She's so, it'll be really nice. I feel like It's kind of maybe the beginning of a commune, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about that. So we shall see how that goes. So that's the life update. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about books. So in March, I joined a book group. It's an ongoing book group, and the book we're reading is this one, Robert M. Place's The Tarot, Magic, Alchemy, Hermeticism, and Neoplatonism. It's a 700-page book. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. And I am reading this with a group of people who didn't know any of them except for the person who's running the group. And we meet every Friday night. No pressure, if you can be there, great. If you can't, that's no problem. So far, I've made just about every one. And we read about 13 to 15 pages a session, and it's going to take us a year to finish the book. And we are now on page 217. We've just finished up with kind of history of occult history, and now we're just starting this the early tarot, the origin of the cards. And I'm telling you, that Robert M. Place is really something. He actually joined it's Saturday today, and he actually joined our group last night. So we got to ask him questions, and he did a little PowerPoint presentation for us of some of the new things he's working on, and it's really been incredible. Sometimes I leave that group and I'm just like, whoa, my head is like, whoa. And the people in the group are incredibly diverse and well-read and knowledgeable, and it's been really wonderful and just what I need as I'm going through this, or as I was going through this challenging time. I just got this book, You Were Born for This, by Chani Nichols. This is really great. I'm about halfway through. I'm just finishing up with my moon. And this is a really readable, usable book. And what it's done for me is, I'm not a student of astrology. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I just, there's so many things that I'm interested in, and then that I'm studying and working, and astrology just seemed way too much. But of course, astrology is deeply connected with tarot, and this is my third year I'm doing a Decan walk. And so anyway, my daughter had recommended this, and I finally got it, and I'm really glad I did, because it's pulling all the pieces together for me and clarifying the picture for me. So I highly, highly recommend this. Really good. You don't have to read the whole thing. So like, for example, I'm doing the moon, and you can just go to, like, my moon is in Cancer. So you can just go to that section. You don't have to read all the pieces of the moon and the sun and so forth. So I'm just reading the parts that pertain to me and my chart in my first go round, and then I'll go back through it and read it more thoroughly. So that is great. And then another book I'm reading is this one, Queer Devotion by Charlie Claire Burgess, Spirituality Beyond the Binary in Myth, Story, and Practice. Where am I on this one? 41. So I'm not too far into it, but I did just get it a couple weeks ago. And I'm kind of doing a bedtime reading with this. And it's very interesting. And I'm enjoying it. And I'll let you know what I think when I finish it. So those are my books. Of course, I'm also reading my usual mystery and thrillers. And I'm not going to make 100 books this year. I'm not even going to try. So, oh well. All right, so here we are. It's June 28th, just a week past the solstice, one of the fullest, most boisterous, luscious times of the year. And so I wanted to talk about herbs. So I thought, okay, so here's one of my beloveds. This is Angelica. And this is Angelica in so now the flower has turned to seeds. And if I had left this on the plant, these seeds would turn brown and drop to the ground. But I love what I do is, so this is from last year, the tube from last year. I just do this and I have like an Angelica. I'll just put this in my room somewhere and it stands up because I have the tube from last year that's dried. And then I always have Angelica's presents. So I have done that. The rest of I only had 2 this year come into seed. And so this is the only seed head I'm going to cut back. The rest I'm going to leave in my garden so that they'll, plant new babies. This is the Angelica, this is the Sun card from the Herbal Tarot by Michael Tierra. And Angelica is the herb on the Sun card, which is so perfect. This is more Dongui. The Angelica that I have, it kind of looks, the flower looks like this, so you can see it's round like this, but mine doesn't turn white. Mine is like a lime green or a pale celery green, and then it goes from the flower into these seeds. So that's Angelica. And on my altar, I put this Angelica card. So I have 2 Angelica cards on my altar this time of year. Lavender. Oh, look, it matches. Oh. So this has popped open a little bit. I really should have harvested this when it was still a bud, but I didn't. But I'm still going to dry it and keep it. I have a whole jar downstairs in my cabinet, my herb cabinet. I love lavender. It's one of my favorites. And then Rosa rugosa. So this is dried. I am making elixir, but last year I made, can you hear it? Crunchy. Smells delicious. So I don't know, this year I'm doing a really good job drying it. It's staying nice and bright and vibrant in my cabinet, and I have several jars of it. So I have plenty of dried flowers for using for spell work, for making into teas and so forth. And then I have like 3 jars of the elixir, which I did not bring up. And then right now, a big time of year for this lovely St. John's wort. This is a little bit past where you want to see it. If you're going to make the oil, you really want to harvest it more when it's like this and it's bud. And let's see, so here's my fingers. Let me show you what happens. It's a yellow herb, right? You can see it's a yellow flower. But the magic of St. John's wort is this yellow flower makes a deep blood red oil and a deep red tincture. And that's because of the hypericin, one of the active healing constituents in St. John's. So it's one of my favorites. I adore it. And I'm lucky because my neighbors next door ripped apart their backyard to put in a new septic system, and then they never replanted the lawn or re-landscaped it, and so now it's just this wild place where all kind of yarrow grows, St. John's wort, sweet fern, all kinds of local flora. And so I can just go over there and harvest it. And I know that it hasn't been tainted with any kind of chemicals, or it's not near the road. So it's great. It's like my own private St. John's wort harvesting spot. Not an herb, but one of my favorite flowers this time of year is hydrangea. And my hydrangea has this pink and this blue on it. And this one will eventually turn blue. And then I just semi-cut to bring into the house throughout the summer. But by the fall, by August and September, these will turn like a beautiful between a celery and an olive green with a burgundy tone. So they start out whitish, greenish, and they are pink, and then they turn to this blue, and that it's amazing. They turn so many different colors. Let's see if I can. Here we go. And then I discovered this shop near me in New Bedford called Wild Heart Herb House. And I've been wanting to go there. They're mainly an herbal store, but they also are trying to build community. And they're specifically working to make a safe and caring space for queer community in the New Bedford area. And New Bedford is about halfway between Providence, Rhode Island, and Cape Cod, where I live. Maybe a 45-minute ride for me. So when I went there, I saw that they have Tulsi Rose Milky Oat Tops. This is a nervous system relaxing, heart nourishing, hope inspiring, stress relieving tea blend. Perfect for me. So I bought it because those are 3 of my favorites. And this time of year, so I have a cup of it right here. And oh, delightful. What I did was I took the dried blend and I went out in my yard and I picked some fresh Tulsi and fresh rose and some fresh lemon basil and added that in. So this is kind of a mix of dried and fresh herbs. So that is delightful. I'm also working and enjoying strawberry. Strawberry, like rose, is heart-shaped and is also a anti-inflammatory, heart-healing herb. And right now we are at the peak of the locally grown strawberry season, so I'm eating a lot of strawberries and enjoying them, and they're feeding my heart and soul. Animals. Am I doing animals next? Animals next. This time of year, this lovely, delightful creature visits. My bee balm is in bloom, and the hummingbirds love the bee balm. And I also have this beautiful hummingbird feeder that my sister gave me. And so usually in the morning and at dusk, they just come endlessly, and I can just sit at my dining room table and watch them as they entertain me. I love them. And then I'm still working with Owl, which is my animal of the year. And I love this because the hermit, we're in a hermit year. So this is from the Moon Tarot. So it just so happens that Owl is on hermit. And I have this on my altar. So those are the, oh shoot, I forgot my red-tailed hawk feather. Can I pause? Hey, okay. This is really important. I really, really want to talk about this. So, this is a red-tailed hawk feather. And so When my it's gonna kind of sound like this isn't gonna make sense, but it actually is. So when my parents died, my dad died first, and after he passed, I went over to the window to open the window, so you can let the soul go free. And I went over to the window, and I was just standing there. It was early September, and I said, Dad, what's the symbol going to be when I know you're around? And just as I released those words, a monarch butterfly flew by the window. So for my dad, it's butterfly. And then a couple years later, early March, which is kind of wintry here, my mom passed. And I did the same thing. I went over to the window and I said, we opened the window, and I said, okay, Mom, what's the symbol going to be? And a red cardinal flew and sat in the bush right in front of me in the window. So that's my mom's symbol. And then when Bob passed, I didn't go to the window. I asked him. He had passed. He was, he was there, but he was dead. And I said, Bob, what's the symbol going to be? Because he knew about the situation with my parents and the butterfly and the cardinal. And I very clearly heard him say, hawk. And then I said, oh, hawk. And then he said, red-tailed hawk. So that was a Monday. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. I get it. So then a couple days later, my daughter was here, of course. Several family members were around. And I went out to get the mail. And there were 2 cards. One for Naomi, my daughter, and one for me. And they were from my dear, dear friend, Mary. And inside the card was a red-tailed hawk feather, one for me and one for Naomi. And I was like, well, wow. So Mary had written on the card, she was a falconer, and she, for many years, had hawks. She had a mews in her yard, and she had hawks. But Renee, whose feather this is, I knew Renee, passed away many, I think 10 or 12 years ago. So Mary said she was writing cards for Naomi and me, and she said she just kept getting this message that she had to give us red-tailed hawk feather. And it had to be the tail feather, not anything else. And she didn't think she had any more because it had been so long since Renee had passed. But she kept looking, and she found a box in the back of her closet. She said she kept throwing in the towel and saying, this is ridiculous. And she said she just would get this like buzzing, this feeling like, no, you have to get that. So she did. So Naomi and I each got a red-tailed hawk feather. And I told Mary, I said, Mary, wow, that's the symbol from Bob. And she said, oh, she said, I just knew it was important. I kept getting this feeling that I had to find those feathers for you guys. So anyway, now on my altar, I have this red-tailed hawk feather. So that was pretty cosmic. So that's my animals. Decks. So I guess I wanted to just talk quickly about the decks I've been using in June. I didn't bring them because they're ones I use a lot. But anyway, Gay Marseille and Fifth Spirit I'm using a lot. Not mainly, but partly because it's Pride Month, and those are LGBTQ queer decks. And so I thought it would be nice to use them in this month. I'm also so I want to talk about some new decks that I've gotten and that I'm using in June. So I finally bit the bullet on this one. This is Oak, Ash, and Thorn. This is the classic one. And I got this. I don't know why. I mean, it never really spoke to me. I have other decks that are, kind of similar to this one. But for some reason, in March, they had like a get the classic because we're not going to print it anymore. And I thought, oh, what the heck? So I got it. And you know what? It's kind of a really good deck for what I'm going through right now and what I went through in March and April and May. So I guess there was a reason I got it. I haven't used it very much, but I do feel moving forward that I will. And for some reason, not only did I get the classic version, but I got the second edition. And I have no idea why I felt like I needed to go from 0 of these decks to 2. The only difference really is the back and the font. It's the exact same deck. So I'll probably end up rehoming the new one and keeping this classic one. So I'm glad I have it, and it's comforting. And, oh, I love Fox. Look at this. It's just beautiful, isn't it? I know many of you are fans of this deck, and it just never really spoke to me. And I'm still not sure, but I think I am going to end up keeping it and enjoying it. And, it is a beautifully produced deck. Comforting. So that is Oak, Ash, and Thorn by Adam Ohlers and Stephanie Burrows. Lovely. I backed this deck on Kickstarter, and I did a walkthrough of it. It's called the Dreaming Waves Oracle. I love it. I recommend it so strongly. It's just this beautiful combination. Well, first of all, I'm an ocean girl, and I live on Cape Cod. I can walk down my street and be in a salt marsh, and I can get in my car and in 5 minutes be at the beach, where I see all these, who is this, Hermit? Did I go by Hermit Crab? Yep, we have hermit crabs. Anyway, I love the beach. I love the ocean. It's just, I love oysters. And it's really interesting. So let's just see. This is The World is Your Oyster Manifestation. Sink or swim. The choice is yours. So these cards are really interesting, a really wonderful range of, so this is North Star, faith, guidance, smooth sailing, period of ease. I just pulled this card and I said, thank you, goddess. Flying fish. Look at this one, sunlit horizon, new beginning. The pearl, inner resilience. It's just got swordfish, swift action. So it's got a really, oh, the dolphins dance. It's got a really, maybe I'll finish that sentence eventually. It's got a really, really wonderful range of kind and gentle and soft with compelling, not confronting, maybe that's too strong a word, but not soft pedaling. And so the guidebook is fabulous. I love the art. It's watercolor, and it was painted with seawater, ocean water. And this guidebook is great. My old eyes are not thrilled with the size of the font, but it's got the name of the card, the keywords, then it talks about the card, and then it has reflections or journal questions. And I am really, really enjoying this deck, and I've been using it a lot. Happy about that. Let's see. Oh, I just got this deck in, Neo Tarot. This is a really lovely self-care deck, and I had it many years ago, and my daughter was visiting, and then, you know, a while later I was like, where's my Neo Tarot? And I'm looking for it. And finally said, Naomi, do you have my Neo Tarot? Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah. So that, I just thought, oh, well, and that was probably 5 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. And then recently I was like, you know what? I miss this deck. I need a self-care deck right now. I love the artwork. I love the bodies. I love the way the people look. I love the colors. It's just a wonderful deck. So I went online, and I think on Thrift Books I found this deck, and it said used in very good condition, $4.99, so $5. And I thought, okay, well, you know what? It wasn't used. It was brand new, wrapped in plastic. So I got a brand new deck for $5. So let me just see. I'm going to go to, oh, here's the Ace of Cups. Here's the Ace of Cups. So we have the meaning of the Ace of Cups, themes, affirmation. So theme, emotional abundance, grace, divine connection, healing, affirmation. Through limitless self-love, I find purpose and fulfillment. And then it's got a self-care activity. So each card has a meaning, upright and reversed, the theme, the affirmation, and a self-care activity. And I just thought, I need this deck right now. So, hey, for $5, I got it. So I'm happy about that. And they repackaged it so I didn't have to rip the book out of the package. It's all in one piece, which is very nice. And then the last deck I want to talk about is this one. This is the Enchanted Earth. It's a rock pool deck by Jessica LaHood and Amanda Clark. And, you know, I'm not a rock pool Blue Angel gal. I really usually call them the Oracle Industrial Complex. I just feel like they just come out with endless amounts of useless problem. I don't know. Anyway, I saw this. Somebody, you know, some big channel person got, you know, rock pool, sent it to them pre-release, and I was like, oh shoot, look at the artwork. It's beautiful. It's got lots of owls, it's got deer, stag, it's got crows, it's got foxes, it's the woodlands, it's this beautiful bear. This was one of the first cards I pulled. Empowered. Oh, I think this was, I did a deck interview, and this was the first card I pulled. I think the question I asked was, why was I attracted, or why did I bring you into my collection, or something like this. So I got bear, empowered, strength, courage, self-reliance. That's so perfect for me right now. More owls. So it's got, oh, I like this one. Come as you are, authenticity, individuality, uniqueness. Now, did I go by the Frozen one? Because that was, Oh shoot, I really wanted to, I think I did. There's this one called Frozen. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, Frozen. This is really interesting. So that's the key word, or the title. The key words are perfectionism, overthinking, and progress. So, you know, when you are aiming for perfectionism and you're overthinking things, you really are frozen. And so in order to make progress, you've got to let go of that, let go of the overthinking, let go of the perfectionism, and just let life happen. And the guidebook is good. It's got pictures of the cards. This is actually the card I just happened to open up to that I pulled last night. So it's got the name of the card, the keywords, and then it has like a little affirmation, and then it just has, you know, information about the card and what it means. And so I've decided I'm keeping this by my bedside, and it's going to be my bedtime pull. And I've been doing that just a few nights now, but I think I'm going to keep it up for a while. So there I am, my June favorites with a little catch up from January on. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate this beautiful community of tarot people and like-minded social activists, caring people. The world is a mess, and we need to be in community with each other so that we can build each other up, so that we will have the power and the strength to do the social activism work that we need to be doing right now. The world is on fire. People are burning and dying and starving, and we need to get to work. And we can do that by loving and caring and supporting each other and getting out there and changing the world. So change the world, everybody. Peace and love.